Yo ho, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on right here? You are live and tuned in to MMA Reloaded on the mic, episode 4. What is going on? I hope you're all keeping well out there in the MMA land, in the MMA community, wherever you're watching this. Thank you for watching. And of course, folks, what do I have behind me? Not even there. What do I have behind me, folks? A whole collection of MMA Reloaded merch. There's a lot more where this came from. Folks. So tune in and go to MMAReloaded.co.uk to get your MMA Reloaded merch now. T-shirts. We got shirts. We got hoodies. Anything else y'all want is probably coming soon, but shirts and hoodies on MMAReloaded.co.uk are available now to order. Keep cushy, keep warm, keep cool with MMA Reloaded. Wear that name in your chest, man. It stands for something, you know what I'm saying? So, folks, welcome to episode 4 of MMA Reloaded on the mic, the show where we cap and recap the hottest topics in mixed martial arts going down. And of course, folks, it is that time again. You know, it is fight week, and UFC will come back to our television screens, to our laptop streaming in 2021 for the first time, January the 16th, which is next week, where Max Holloway takes on Calvin Kattar. And folks, you know what that means. When it's fight week, you know what that means for MMA Reloaded. It means the breakdown. It means we cap off the event. We break it all down for you, head to toe. We give you all the information on the fighters, the fights, and all the latest info on the event. Tune in to MMA Reloaded on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course right here on YouTube. Now, folks, to kick it off tonight, I was talking about Shogun Rua. Like, I saw a post about Shogun Rua, of course, Mauricio Shogun Rua, name synonymous with mixed martial arts, a name that everyone knows in the mixed martial arts community, a name that has spanned nearly 2 decades of martial arts beauty, martial arts competition, from Pride to the UFC. Shogun Rua's name is synonymous with the UFC, synonymous with mixed martial arts. And folks, he suffered an injury at UFC 255 during the fight, and has contemplated retirement since. With Shogun Rua, folks, I saw a post that he is retired. So if that is the case, thank you so much, Mauricio Shogun Rua, for the memories. Thank you for creating history, for all of us. Former Pride champion, former UFC light heavyweight champion. At one time, folks, was regarded as the greatest light heavyweight of all time. And if that is the end, thank you so much, Mauricio Shogun Rua. Your career will be truly indebted to. And that is a tough career to follow, folks, for any light heavyweight. It's a tough bar to rise up to for any light heavyweight in Mauricio Rua. From Alistair Overeem to Nogueira, Mark Coleman, Chuck Liddell, Leon Machida, he's done it all. And I feel, folks, even later on in his career, man, his last few fights, he's looked fantastic. He was on a win streak. He was on that 3-5 win streak before he lost to Paul Craig. I was so happy to see Shogun actually doing well at this stage, because he was being so critically acclaimed. He was being criticized by the critics as his career went on, as his age went on, as his body started to wear and tear, as they say in MMA. He proved them all wrong. He was on a 3-5 win streak. He looked great in some of his fights, man. And I was so happy to see Shogun who are doing well, man. So if that is the end, thank you so much to Mauricio Shogun who are, folks. And folks, I don't know if you tuned in to Mike Tyson's last Hot Boxing podcast. And Mike Tyson had Ryan Garcia on the show, folks. He had Ryan Garcia. Now, we all know, folks, that Ryan Garcia knocked out Luke Campbell to win the WBC lightweight championship, right? So your top two contenders for the WBC lightweight title are Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. Both men with history with Ryan Garcia. They have history with Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fought each other 5 times. 5 times. Yeah, folks. 5 motherfucking times. So, would you like to see Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia? I mean, to be honest, 2 young, undefeated, sensational phenoms to ever step foot in a boxing ring. Or Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis. Yeah, folks, to be exact. And this is where I'm getting to with this, folks, is on Mike Tyson's podcast. They FaceTimed Gervonta Davis. They FaceTimed Tank. During the show, passed the phone over to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson points it to Ryan Garcia. And he goes, Ryan, you want to say something to him? Oh, yeah. Ryan Garcia said to Gervonta Davis he'll sleep him in 2 rounds. 2 rounds! Boy, I don't know what to say, man. If I was Ryan Garcia, yeah, I would kind of slow my roll with all the shit talking yet. The fight hasn't been made yet. Even though we all know it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Yeah, you can't fucking, talk all this shit and have so much speculation going around Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis for months and months and months. And then for it to not happen, it is going to happen. That fight is going to happen. The gold is going to be on the line. Undefeated streaks are going to be on the line. Yeah, and the grudge is going to be settled for the WBC lightweight championship. But that's not the point. The point is, Ryan Garcia said he's going to sleep Gervonta Davis in 2 rounds. Davis comes back and goes, Tank comes back and goes, he got hit and knocked down by someone who can't even hit. Tank Davis said to Ryan Garcia, Ryan got knocked down by someone who can't even hit, meaning Luke Campbell. When Luke Campbell dropped Ryan Garcia with that left hand, to be precise. So, when we see, folks, when we see all this talk, when we see the talk, and the Mike Tyson's podcast, folks, is the most unpredictable shit out there. It is the most unpredictable thing out there, man, right now. I love watching that shit. Ryan Garcia stood up, like as if Gervonta Davis was right there in front of him. He stood up off his seat, and they were talking shit, boy. They were talking mad shit. And I'll tell you something. If that fight happens, yeah, and I think me and Jonel Lugo had something. Me and A1, Jonel Lugo, folks, on the last episode of Real Talk, we talked about Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, and we were like, boy, it is a hard fight for Ryan Garcia. It is a very hard fight for Ryan Garcia, folks. If Ryan Garcia was to go up against Gervonta Davis, it is not going to take one left hook to knock Tank out. No, it's not going to take one body shot to knock Tank out. If Tank gets careless, then yeah, Ryan could catch him nicely. Ryan's fast. Ryan Garcia, folks, is quick. He's sweet. His hands are fucking slick weapons. But Tank Davis, what poses a threat to Ryan Garcia is his speed. Not only his speed, but his ability to use his size to his advantage to pressure his opponent and land those uppercuts. Snap off that jab and hit him with that uppercut as they back up. That's what Tank Davis does well, I think. And then we heard Devin Haney folks come out and say if Ryan Garcia isn't going to fight me, then give me Tio Lopez. Now, of course, folks, when it comes to lightweight boxing, Teofimo Lopez holds all the crown. He holds it all, folks. He holds it all. WBO. He holds the Ring Magazine Championship. He holds it all. Right? He holds the WBC Lightweight Championship, WBO, the Ring. He is the uncrowned king of lightweight boxing. Yeah, folks. But he is the crowned king of lightweight boxing. Is Teofimo Lopez after beating Vasyl Lomachenko. So, if Devin Haney wants to fight Tio, that would complete the lightweight picture. That would complete it. That would be sweet. That would be sweet. Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia on the same card, double header, double championship header. Yeah, undisputed lightweight event. I would take it. I would buy it. I would sit there and go fucking watch it with my mask on and shit, obviously. But yeah, that is basically the lowdown when it comes to Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. Ain't no real getting around it there. There's no bend. It's just a straight road. It's just a straight decision for Bob Arum to make, for the promoters to make. You have to make Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. And you have to, and then you got two more champions right there. Gervonta Davis, you got Devin Haney, and you got Tio Lopez. Bring it. Go. Do it. Make it happen, man. Then, folks, I would like to give a real shout out to a guy who I'm sure you've seen on MMA Reloaded Instagram. Yeah, folks, and we posted up about him a lot. From street beefs to a 6-3 amateur career in MMA, to a 6-3 amateur career in MMA, to competing on street beefs on Facebook. Yeah, folks, and on YouTube. To being scouted by Anthony Showtime Pettis and the Showtime group. Of course, I'm talking about the Memnon Warrior. I'm talking about Emmanuel Pugh. Emmanuel Pugh, folks, has been a feature on MMA Reloaded on Instagram. We've shown you some highlights of him competing at street beefs and what he can do. Folks, I'll tell you, he was too good for that show. He was too good for street beefs. Of course, street beefs was something which was started to help, it was started as a thing to help people, and to help youths, to help people who've been through a lot of shit, and I have to say it was a great concept. It is a great concept, I have to say. It's still going on as far as I'm aware. But yeah, man, street beefs is a great concept, to help inner city youths and all these things. But you have to understand that a guy like Emmanuel Pugh, who was already a martial artist, who was already competing at the amateur level in MMA, was on a different level. When you have standouts at something, when a person stands out, when an athlete stands out, more importantly, they stand out big. And especially in mixed martial arts, folks, a standout is always something that management crews like Ali Abdulaziz, guys like that, are always looking for. They're always looking for standouts. And Showtime Pettis and Emmanuel Pugh, what a combination that is. 22 years old, Emmanuel Pugh, folks. But he talks so mature. He fights so mature. He has a great fight IQ, great knowledge. That's why I've been showing that respect and appreciation to him. It's been, I think there are big things coming for that young man. I think there are huge things coming up for Emmanuel Pugh in the future, whether it's on the Contender Series or whether he's going to make a debut straight in UFC. I would love to see it, man. And then, folks, as we move on, HAKEEM Dawodu Folks, I have to really say it. I mean, I posted it up. You can check the post out on Instagram on MMA Reloaded, but I'd rather say it to you guys as well. UFC 257 was meant to host HAKEEM versus Shane Burgos, the battle of two featherweights, both top 15 Shane Burgos, and it's unranked, but many people think it should be ranked. HAKEEM Dawodu. Folks, HAKEEM Dawodu has pulled out of the fight with a shoulder injury. Now, I posted it up on Insta, yeah, folks, and I just want to lay it down right now. Who should be the replacement? Who will save the show for the UFC and go and fight Shane Burgos? I had a few thoughts in mind. Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza currently ranked at number 15 at featherweight, and I would love to see Edson Barboza versus Shane Burgos. I think that would be a great fight. It would be fast-paced, fast and furious, ass-kicking on the feet. Interesting to see how Edson combats with a featherweight who's nearly as tall as he is, right? And can combat him size to size and in a physical way, in a physique way, attributes. Shane Burgos, Edson Barboza is a perfect fight. We'd love to see how Dan Ige goes against Shane Burgos. We haven't seen Dan Ige in a while, folks. I would love to see how Dan Ige goes in a return fight in a fight with Shane Burgos. It would be a magnificent fight to see with Dan Ige. Speaking of Dan, let me see how. Because I think it's been a while, folks, since he's returned. So yeah. So folks, Dan Ige was on a 6-fight win streak before he lost to Calvin Kattar in July 2020. So I would love to see him come back and fight someone like Shane Burgos, top 50, a battle of top 15 fighters at featherweight, a chance for one of those two men to fight, to grind out and move up that ladder. It's one of the most stacked divisions, man, in the UFC, no doubt about it, man. I think they need to save this fight. I would love to see Dan Ige versus Shane Burgos. Arnold Allen, folks, is he's near top 10. Arnold Allen is near the top 10 at featherweight. And I would have to say Arnold Allen deserves a fight like this. He deserves a big fight. He deserves a fight where he can sink his teeth into, where he can benefit from it if he wins as well. Because if he comes in at short notice, what are we now? We're about 6 days away, yeah, folks? 6 days. It's this Sunday, yeah? It's next Sunday. So Arnold Allen comes in, near a top 10, saves the show, wins the fight against Shane Burgos. He can move up. You want an opponent for Shane Burgos where the opponent, whoever the UFC pick, is just as hungry as Shane Burgos is, has just as much to lose as Shane Burgos does. And I would love to see Arnold Allen fight. I would love to see it be a ranked opponent like Dan Ige or Edson Barboza. If they go the other way and don't do a ranked opponent, Giga Chikadze, the Georgian Savage, the Tarzan of Georgia. I would love to see Giga go for it, man. Elia Topuria, 8-0, or 9-0 now is Elia Topuria. Elia Topuria is now 9-0. Yeah, folks, I would love to see him go. Great performances in his last 2 UFC appearances. I would love to see Elia Topuria get the opportunity to break out. Or Senor Perfecto, Bill Algeo. Man, if you want a technical fight with Shane Burgos, if you want a great fight with Shane Burgos and you want to put in there someone in there who will take Shane Burgos to hell and back and give 100%, Bill Algeo's your man. I think it's going to be a great fight. Whoever they choose, they need to save that fight. They can't have a blow to UFC 257 the first week back in the UFC in 2021, and you can't have a blow like that, man. You can't have a blow. They saved UFC on Fight Island 8. They saved Fight Island 8 with Michael Chiesa and Neil Magny now headlining it. Why can't they say UFC fight? Why can't they say UFC 257? It's bullshit. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with that fight. And of course, folks, Jon Jones. I want to talk about Jon Jones, folks. Jon Jones has been very, very, very vocal as of late in the mixed martial arts community, as he always is, right? Jon Jones is one of those guys who, in my opinion, loves that spotlight, folks. Now that he's close to returning, 2021, he loves the spotlight. He loves to get under the skin of his opponents. And coming into his heavyweight debut, we still don't know who his opponent's going to be. But coming into that heavyweight debut, Jon Jones knows that he's got to send a message somehow, right? So he sent a message during his anniversary. It was his anniversary of the first fight with Daniel Cormier, folks, at UFC 182. And Jon Jones said to DC, "Oh, it's the anniversary of the first time I made a hater, my first hater." And he called Dan. He was just straight away. Daniel called me, "You're a hater." Of course, that first fight, Jon Jones beat DC. It was a legit win, as far as we know. It was a beautiful performance by Jon Jones. That first fight, it showed. It kind of just makes us forget all the controversies, all the drug problems that we've seen with Jon Jones. And if you see a performance like that, if you go back and see Jon Jones' performances, you'll see why he is the best modern day mixed martial artist of all time. And I have to say, folks, Israel Adesanya may be leading us into a new decade, but Jon Jones will always be one of the most naturally talented, one of the best modern day mixed martial artists of all time. Talent like Jon Jones's does not go away, folks. It doesn't go away at all. Fuck the Torino Bowl. Fuck all the positive drug tests. Jon Jones is the man. Yeah, folks. And I would love to see who he faces off with a heavyweight. At 33 years old, folks, he's still in his prime. He's not even old. I don't believe in age. I just believe that age and how your body feels is up to you. It's up to the fighter. And Jon Jones knows how Jon Jones feels. He's jacked, folks. Jon Jones is jacked. He looks great. He looks like $1 million. And Jon Jones, in my opinion, class never dies. I've always said it. I will always say it. Class never dies. And Jon Jones, I think, will come back strong. I'd love to see him against Francis Ngannou. I'd love to see him against Stipe Miocic. But I would like to refer back to something else he said. He said, "I went up to heavyweight because I don't think I can beat Jan Blachowicz. I went up to heavyweight because a former middleweight champion moved up to light heavyweight," meaning Israel Adesanya. Jon Jones, for anyone who thinks Jon Jones was being serious in those tweets, saying that he moved up because he feared Jan, no way, man. He wanted Jan Blachowicz. He was sitting in the crowd when Jan Blachowicz won the UFC light heavyweight championship. He was there. Jon Jones was there, man. Jon Jones was there. Jon Jones will never, I would say, all right, folks, you could say he backed out of a rematch with Dominic Reyes. He backed out of a rematch with Dominic Reyes. You could say he backed out of a fight with Corey Anderson. But yeah, what can you do, man? What can you do? It's up to the UFC matchmakers to make that fight, but it's also up to the fighters, man. If you don't want to fight, it sucked when Jon Jones did a rematch Dominic Reyes. I thought he would, but what are you going to do about it, huh? Jan Blachowicz is now the champion. Jan Blachowicz knocked out Dominic Reyes to become the champ. So, folks, I'm looking forward to seeing Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya in March. I'm looking forward to seeing Jon Jones return at heavyweight. I'm looking forward to seeing Dominic Cruz, the legend himself, the bantamweight legend, the bantamweight god, return against Casey Kenny. Another phenomenal phenomenal fighter. Folks, this is Mixed Martial Arts. This is MMA Reloaded on the mic. Stay tuned and keep tuned in to MMA Reloaded on Instagram for the full breakdown, your full fighter information for this weekend, for next Sunday night at UFC Fight Island 7. MMA Reloaded will provide the full breakdown for y'all so y'all can get the full experience, the full information, and know it all. To get the vibe, to get in the mood for UFC Fight Island 7. And that's how we do business. Don't forget to, go on MMAReloaded.co.uk and join the revolution now.